Oh, it's not clear here.
Okay, Mr. Bobo, you can start now.
Okay, thank you, Bajrani. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
First of all, let's pray and thank to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us some mercies and blessing. So we can attend and gathering in this Zoom meeting in good condition and happy situation. Salawats and greetings we deliver to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, we don't have any ladies here. Look like we don't.
We have two ladies, Uni Aisha and Alfianti.
Wow. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm so grateful to be here today, and it's so precious for me to be your master of our Zoom meeting. My name is Sofyan, and I'm from Otomarapa, Jorong, Majed. So our agenda for tonight is follows as number one, there's opening by MC, which is by myself. And then number two is key performance indicator or KPI versus objective key result or OKR presentation by Brother Majed. And then the third one is question and answer sessions. And the last one is closing by MC. So please welcome Brother Majed. The time is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm going to start sharing the screen.
All right, Mr. Brother Majed, Ronnie will allow you to be the co-host.
Okay.
You are already as a co-host, Mr. Majed.
All right.
Okay. All right. Let me switch it to. Okay. This presentation is actually relevant very much to our previous one, which is setting up SMART goals. And the previous one, I would call it the academic side of it. And this one is the application on the field. So that's why I put it introduction to OKRs, but it is very much, it is KPIs and OKRs, but in general, it is all about this new concept, which is OKRs. We will come to know what are OKRs. Okay, so using KPIs and OKRs are tools to measure SMART goals.
All right.
You will first compare OKRs versus KPIs to show what do OKR and KPI stand for as abbreviation. What's the difference between OKR and KPI? What are the OKR and KPI example? We'll be going through a couple of those. And finally, can OKRs and KPIs work together?
Right.
So it should cover this whole concept. Now, it should be known that measuring business performance is the key to any growth. So to know where you are in the business, it is very important to know how you are performing. So it is important to understand the current state of progress, what works and what doesn't. That's why setting KPIs, which is key performance indicators, is as important as setting OKRs, which stands for objectives and key results. And that is both of them. It is to measure the right things and move the needle where we need to go. I mean, do we need improvement? Do we need to slow down? Do we need to change? And so these two combined together will give us the indication. I put here a sample diagram of 1 year divided into 4 quarters, where we have the OKRs and and KPIs joined together to give us statistical numbers. And the needle, as you see in the actual value, you got the projections, which is what is we expecting. We got the actual, which is the result now, and the value. And this is the needle that we are talking about, is how to move it upward. Okay. Now, there are many asked the same question, and I face this in my sessions. Now, I need first to hide your displays because it is covering my screen. Let me go back. Honey? I need to go back.
All right.
Okay. No, but how to hide the pictures? Okay. Just give me a minute so that
It's okay.
will be removed. Okay. Okay. Now, are OKRs replacing KPIs? What is the difference between both? And how do they intertwine? These are questions we come across all the time. And I gave 3 sessions of those, and everybody asked me exactly the same questions. So
Yeah.
people sometimes think that they need to choose between them.
Yeah.
I mean, do we stop using KPIs and start using OKRs? But that is so wrong. Both have important business values. KPIs are the everyday or month or quarter business metrics that tells an establishment or any business is running on all cylinders. I mean, if you have a car that is 4-cylinder and you only have 3 working, you need to identify that, and you need to measure it, that there is 1 cylinder that is not running. And so you need to see where the things went wrong, and as we mentioned before, move the needle to bring all the engine working together. KPIs have targets, which tells us what kind of level of the performance we need to on those metrics to make sure an establishment stay alive. KPI should also be achieved with day-to-day activities, and if they are not, it is needed to set an OKR that tells what to focus on to fix it. That will become more clear and more evident when we spoke in details about OKRs. OKRs are where we want to drive growth. So for example, if you're driving a car, your KPIs are the temperature of the engine, the level of the fuel, and your steering wheel. The OKRs are where are you going, your destination. So that is the objective. So if you don't have enough fuel, you have to adjust your OKRs. So you will say, well, my OKR actually is going to be the next gasoline station, or I'm going to deviate from the original plan. So that's a difference, in short, between what is a KPI, which is what you have, and the OKR, where are you going? So OKRs are where we want to drive growth, drive innovation, and drive change. They are what sets the direction for the whole establishment to focus on. When quarterly OKRs are created, we are deciding how we will spend our time and resources in the next 3 months. So, for example, if you give yourself an objective, like I've heard that during the last session, there is a PhD, okay, that the target to achieve that is a OKR. So the KPIs, that is how to measure your performance in order to achieve that. And by identifying those metrics and the performance, you will understand, are you going through the right direction, or you need to do some change by introducing innovation or introducing something new. So it doesn't mean that we drop all our day-to-day tasks. That helps keep the business healthy. Simply put, KPIs are passive, more looking to the past, which means what do we have?
Yep.
Answering the question, did we hit the target or not? OKRs are all about the future direction and improvements, actively brainstorming how to move forward. Okay. Now, what are KPIs? KPIs stand for key performance indicators, as we mentioned earlier. They are measurable numbers that demonstrate how effectively a business is moving towards set goals, such as targeted quarterly revenues or targeted production per month. KPIs helps departments, teams, and individuals set clear targets and monitor how achieving KPI targets is progressing. These targets can be annual, quarterly, monthly, daily, or even hourly, depending on what you wish to keep an eye on. Like I was just talking about my job earlier, and there's in Chevron, I'm sure it is happening the same thing. People are monitoring the performance of the refinery or the plant on a minute-by-minute basis. So it's not even hourly, but minute by minute. And that is set KPIs. So there is limits, high limits, low limits, etc. So KPIs are critical indicators of progress toward an intended target, measuring an aspect of the objective of the business. KPIs quantify the objectives and break it down into specific metrics that can be used to measure the achievements towards the objectives. It needs to be noted that KPIs are encouraged to be used within the OKR framework. You need to know where are you going, okay, in order for you to identify your KPIs. To set growth goals and achieve more with alignment and execution. The purpose of the KPI is to analyze past performance. Did we do well? Are we doing well? Or are we not doing well? And make predictions for the future. For example, and I put here an example on my current job, which months or regions are going to bring in sales. So we are monitoring what is coming from the regions around the kingdom, right? In line with the KPIs. Are we meeting our KPIs or not? On the right side of the screen, you will see I put class, planned, and actual. So there's the sales, the expenses, the profit margin. And what is the plan? That is our OKRs. And what is the actual? And that is, are we meeting or are we behind in it? And you can see in our profit margin, we are behind because our expenses had increased, but that is intended, okay? So monitoring key performance indicators, examples, you can see the 4 paragraphs, but that is just to help the argument here that we are talking. And then how many deals will be closed by the salesperson? We have salespersons around the kingdom, and we are giving them targets with KPIs on a quarterly basis. Are they meeting those, or what difficulties are they facing, so that we can correct our OKRs in order to achieve the KPIs that we need? So OKRs keeps adjusting based on the KPIs. Also, the KPIs gets adjusted based on set OKRs. So it depends on the business. Which way do you want to go? Let me be more specific about this. So, for example, if I want to increase more sales, and that is a set OKR that I don't want to touch, so I need to adjust my KPIs, which means I need to train more people, employ more people, put more resources, more expenses to meet that. However, if I want to keep the number of the branches the same, the number of employees the same, I don't want to spend more money on training, then I need to adjust my OKRs. So I can bring the margin, the profit margin down, or take it up. And finally, what an average transaction value to expect? And that is the final result of this. Now we come to the OKRs, and this is the new thing here. This concept now is being adopted for the past 5 years by businesses worldwide. It started with ExxonMobil as a trial. It introduced by Dow Chemicals, and you notice that the oil companies are driving this change. This has reflected very much with their revenues. If you look at their profits in the past 5 years, you see it's jumping exponentially, and you wonder why. Is it the sales of their product? No, it is how they are doing business now. They are aligning their business with a more objective targets. So OKR stands for objectives and key results, a goal setting framework that helps companies establish objectives along with the measurable key results that support the achievement of each objective. OKRs in business are used to communicate desired outcomes throughout the organization. It focuses on the most important areas that needs improvement and deliver valuable results for the business. Objectives and key results, OKRs, is a goal management system used by teams, large and small, to collaborate and achieve stretch goals through a framework that requires regular check-ins, feedback, continuous learning, collaboration, and problem solving. So you notice that the OKRs is not coming from senior management or the head of any establishment. It's actually being created by the teams. They are looking at the KPIs, and then they are putting OKRs and a lot of I noticed when I was talking to people in Aramco, a lot of really innovative ideas came from these teams. They're looking to improve and increase. The senior management have its final results coming actually from the ground team. So it's not actually coming from dedicated level of management. Now, the objectives are qualitative and inspirational. Time-bound goals. Key results quantify the objectives and break it down to specific metrics that can be used to measure the achievements of the objectives. In most cases, OKRs reflect areas of improvement, aka objectives. So it's always a synonym with improvement to keep the business not only running, but also continuous improvement that are meant to help achieving KPI targets. OKRs are measured by key results that you use to track the impact of the change and improvement a team decided to make. This also can be applied even at home. When you have KPIs at home, for example, you want to limit the use of electricity, right? So you come up with OKRs, okay? You put objectives on how to use it, when to use it, so that you can have efficiency without affecting the final results, which is the KPIs. Also, if you can apply it to health, you want to minimize your dependency on corrective health measures like going to the hospitals. So you set your KPIs, and that is reduce the visits, and then you put the objective. Okay, the objective is that you want to limit your dependency on hospitals. It means in the end healthy lifestyle, taking more exercises, spending more under the sun, etc. In most cases, OKRs reflect areas of improvement, okay? Objectives that are meant to help achieve KPI targets. Now, OKRs are measured by key results that you use to track the impact of the changes and improvements a team decided to make. They can improve any area of your business with OKRs, like, for example, increase engagement in the product. I mean, you're not only producing, but you can get engaged on what type of product, what's the quality of the product that you are producing. Personalize the sales approach and nurture new potential customer better. So you need to look at venues where you can improve the exposure of your product with customers. Leverage social proof to increase credibility and improve reputation. So your product needs to be acceptable socially by the public, either government sector or public sector. So there is the advertisement areas, there is the social programs that companies get involved with. Over here in Saudi, we have a lot of involvement from the petrochemical industry in the social programs. The cleaning of the beaches, having set up a marathon, for example. This will bring the public more close to the business and have more awareness about it, and so it will be acceptable. Increase the number of high quality leads, and leads, I mean opportunities. So instead of continuing with the same level of quality with the leads, you can increase the quality by bringing more or a higher quality in the opportunities or leads. Scale the quality assurance team. There should be a focus, a guy with a magnifying glass looking at your mistakes that are hidden and will only be amplified when it is too late usually. So those quality assurance team capture those. So this scale up of the quality assurance team will ensure that it is all captured much early. And as I said, this all can be done within one person or with a team or with the whole organization. So I can be the quality assurance team. I can be the one that is in the social proofing and the personalized sales approach, you name it. Build a financial planning engine that improves accounting processes and accelerate business growth. Adopt a more sound ERP systems, for example, which is e-business, we call it, for bigger organization. At home, you can use the Excel program, but this plan, those tools will help plan your financial. It will give prediction. It will give you idea on your saving, if the opportunities, or even expenditure that you can have free hand with. Now, let's look at the differences from what we have learned just now. Now, OKRs are ambitious stretch goals. They are the long-term goals. They are you can say the final goals. They are business outcome centric, whereas the KPI are business indicators. It tells you where are you now, just like as I said about the car. It tells how much fuel level you have, right? Which means that this is a past. It emphasizes on outputs, unlike the OKRs. It is on the outcome centric. So KPIs, if you look at the right hand of the screen, they are key performance indicators, business metrics, and this is I'm summarizing, business metrics that reflect performance. For performance management and measurement, this is what it is used for. Leadership led, top down, from the people on the top tells you these are the numbers that I needed to achieve. So they are from the top down, not changeable on a regular basis. So they are almost always fixed. As I said, like in the petrochemical industry or the oil industry, you cannot exceed at the limit of the capability of any machine or any component of a plant. It is designed to withstand a certain limit. You cannot go, for example, very high temperature on equipment that cannot withstand that. So your KPIs is set that you do not exceed that limit. The level of performance you want to achieve. What level that you want? Is it high level with high quality, or is it medium quality? So even with quality, if the condition requires you that you drive a Kia car, it doesn't mean that you provide a Rolls Royce, right? So you would meet the intended requirement. Monitors the strategy state, the steady state, sorry, the steady state, and provides benchmarks. So it gives you indications of, are you always exceeding this limit, or are you within the limit, or are you always below the limit? So these benchmarks will give you indication of how well your performance is. If we look at the OKRs, they are objectives and key results. This is what it stands for. They are goal-setting methods that improves performance and drives change. So when you adjust your OKRs, you are actually implementing change to the whole process. They are for alignment, engagement, and focus. So unlike the OKRs, they are based on past performance. This is to align and engage the other sectors and the organization, and while keeping focus on the final results. It is bottom up, unlike the KPIs from top to bottom. This is from bottom up. So those OKRs are actually created by the bottom line of the implementers, bottom line management. If we come to say, it is a 50-50. So it is shared. They are frequently set, adaptive, tracked, and reevaluated. So the OKRs are very dynamic, unlike the KPIs, which are passive, right? It is very anti-business to adjust always your KPIs. You need always to try to identify the KPIs as early enough to make them set, and then adjust your OKRs to meet this. If you are below your KPIs, then you need to adjust the OKRs to meet that, not vice versa. There are a specific area of improvement to focus on, right? And that speaks for itself. You look at specific area, and when you change the OKR, you're actually implementing improvement. You change to improve. They informs everyone on what's important to achieve in the company goals. So the OKRs actually is a translation of what is the company is all about. Why are we doing this business? So in short, when it comes to managing business, having great KPIs identified by itself is not enough. OKRs may be new, but every business has a plan and a budget for every year. These plans and corresponding budgets are typically based on projections of KPIs, based on what has been done in the past and what is targeted or expected to achieve this year. This is where OKRs come into play. And here, I'm just using this example for, again, my current business. We are looking at our website and how efficient it is. So we set KPIs for that, all right? So like, for example, the social proofing. The social proofing in the websites that we are building is to see how many customers are visiting this website and how many are commenting, and the reaction, and what are the reviews that is being injected into our website. And so it should be an increased engagement in our products. So there has to be, it needs to translate what is our product. If you look at the website, most of the business websites are based on trying to sell instead of trying to inform. So they are telling you about this product in very short terms. They give you a picture and they put much emphasis on the prices. Whereas if you put more emphasis on what this equipment is doing, then you would have more outreach, because you will be targeting many who will identify it as something, as a need, not as something as an extra or a luxury. Okay. And finally, the personalized sales approach, nurture potential customers. So if we are identified that this customer is going to be our customer, then we need to have a one-to-one relationship with with him. We need to be more involved in his problems so we can help him in resolving it. So we need to have like, it's bring him into our home and we go into his home. So instead of just meeting in the streets, right? This is just in short term explaining it. But this is our, as I said, I took this example from our company here. So it is our company level objective. Okay. Now, what are the key benefits of OKRs? Why? I mean, we need to evaluate this, of course. Okay, I like the idea of OKRs. It sounds very nice, but what am I getting out of it? There are many benefits of OKRs. One main benefit is that OKRs create intense focus and teach the teams to be result-oriented instead of them just trying to meet KPIs. If you just meeting only KPIs, you'll be missing a lot of opportunities. Whereas if you are more involved in identifying the objective, you will bring change, you'll bring innovative change, which means equals, you'll bring improvement, either in sales or in the quality. Okay, they do this by creating clear focus for the establishment and teams, allowing teams to take ownership of moving the establishment forward and create a unified understanding of success. The second main benefit, and one of the main reasons companies start considering using the OKRs methodology, is that OKRs align the whole establishment. It brings everybody together into focus. As we mentioned earlier, OKRs is focus oriented. So it brings the whole establishment to focus on a goal, instead of keeping them trying to meet only a target KPI. OKRs do this through transparency. So in order for OKR implementation to be successful, there has to be transparency across the board. The old businesses is that each section has his own, or like my information, that he does not allow anybody else to share with him. Whereas in order for us to reach a unified goal, everybody needs to know what everybody else is doing. So in order for this change or improvement can be applied effectively, if it's only applied in one area in isolation with the others, it will be crippled. It's like somebody walking with one foot. But in order for, or a car moving with 3 cylinders instead of 4, if it is 4-cylinder engine. So the transparency is a must. So OKRs do this through transparency and effective communication process. So even that, I mean, when we say effective communication process, a communication process needs to be introduced in business. The minutes of meetings, for example, that going to be shared with all departments. Unlike before, where or the old days, where meetings are held without any scripting. So if we scripted every meeting and distributed, we are now being transparent and we are sharing through communication. We won't have alignment if OKRs aren't transparent and we don't have the proper process in place, such as weekly check-ins and quarterly reviews, and move OKRs forward. Like nowadays in our establishment or our business, we are doing not only quarterly, but monthly reviews of our OKRs. And we are sharing this in our, well, we have like a publication, internal publication. And this results from those reviews are published in the monthly. So even the janitor can look into this. So he can be more involved, at least emotionally, if not business-like. Another great benefit of OKRs is that when they are done properly, OKRs helps team drive growth. They are the ones who make the business. So they understand more about the business than the guys who's sitting in the top. They know about the, like any doctor, he knows more about the health of the patient, unlike the managing director of the hospital, where a managing director of a hospital can make decisions that can be counterproductive for the health of the patient. Like nowadays, what's happening in the US, they are trying to reduce the number of hospitals. And that's affecting a great sector of the population. That's been taken by an administration that has nothing to do with health. And so it is counterproductive if this decision-making is only kept within the people at the top. It should be all across the board, from bottom up. As we said, OKRs, bottoms up. So the innovations, the change, all of that, it needs to be driven from these teams. And this is now, of course, changing, but in areas in Saudi Arabia, maybe it is faster than even Europe. Okay, we will come to this, why it is happening. They do this. Okay, let me read this from start again. Another great benefits of OKRs is that when they are done properly, OKRs help teams drive growth, improvement, and innovation. They do this by allowing teams to think about what they can contribute to achieving the establishment objectives, and thinking about what they can do better and how they should improve. Right? The bottom line, the OKRs versus KPIs concept includes two frameworks that have totally different intent and logic behind them. Key performance indicators and objective and key results coexist very well, and both frameworks should be used in business, but for completely different purposes. As I said, one is to monitor, the other one is to improve, change. OKRs are to be used for goal setting and improving the business, and KPIs for monitoring general business performance. For improvement-oriented and focused goal setting, which everybody should be like that, OKRs should definitely be in use. The OKR methodology offers great benefits for organizations across the board. And we're talking not only in the business sector, but also at home, social, neighborhood. Let's look at some examples of the OKRs. Now, in the past session, I mentioned something about Saudi Arabia Vision 2030. Now, if we look at the logo, this is not just a logo. This has a lot of information. If you notice the first thing, that it is dual language, bilingual. It is Arabic and English. That means it's not only targeting the Saudi or the Arab who are the citizens, but also the foreigners who are here, who can only speak English. So this vision actually covers everybody. And now everybody needs to get involved. Now let's dissect this logo. We will see it. It answers to the question of what is the concept, and that is the vision. When, it gives you the date, 2030, that's the target, it's a schedule. Where, it is site. Where is the site of this project? It is KSA edge to edge, north to south, east to west. Who is driving it? It is the government. You will see that in the second digit of the numerical in 2030, you will see that there's the emblem of the government. So it is government driven, right? So it is government is in the driver's seat, and everybody as teams, we who are controlling the OKRs are in the back seats helping to achieve this. The workforce, who can implement this? The teams. It is kingdom-wide population. That's why you see it written in both Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in English and Al-Mamlaka Al-Arabiya Saudiya in Arabic. How is this going to be done? It is kingdom-wide transformation. If you look at the emblem, the circle around it, this is Islamic drawing, but it is in unison. You see the dots and the lines. It's like when you go to Kaaba, you see the people going around a focus. So in Kaaba, in Mecca, the Kaaba is the focus and everybody is circulating around it. This is actually adopting the same concept here, and it is put in this logo. So this logo actually answers all the question that is needed for us to achieve what we need to achieve. And what do we need to achieve? It is here. The vision is a strategic framework to reduce Saudi Arabia's dependence on oil, diversify its economy, and develop public service sectors such as health, education, infrastructure, recreation, and tourism. So all of those combined together will give us the vision that we are looking for. Now, to do this, as we have been going through here, we need the KPIs, and we need to evaluate those KPIs. So if you look at the progress, you will notice that we are way behind on our targets. There's a lot of reds, more than the yellow, which is meeting, but not that much, and only one area that is green. That is the population of Saudi female labor force. When we opened the area for females, the area of the workforce has doubled. Well, I wouldn't say doubled, it's more than doubled. Okay, if you look at the numbers, the baseline is 23. The target for 2020 is 28, whereas we are now 31.8. So that is way exceeding what we are targeting. Whereas if you look at the other sectors, non-oil revenue, okay, it is not that much. Okay, we're talking here in billions of dollars. But again, it is acceptable. The salaries, now, mostly it's affected by the private sector. The private sector, usually they are the most reluctant to change, because for them, it means investment, it means spending. So what the government is doing, they're introducing laws, they're introducing regulations that either if you want to stay in business, you have to meet those laws and regulations. Otherwise, you are out. So which means you can close your business. Still, I mean, the government cannot go into doing this by force, but again, through incentive programs, etc. But still, there's a lot that needs to be worked with. The credit rating internationally, that needs to be improved. So we need to evaluate and keep re-evaluating how we are implementing this vision, so that we can adjust our OKRs. On a monthly or quarterly or bi-annually or annual basis. So, but again, the target remains the same, 2030. During the last interview, Mohammed bin Salman, Prince Mohammed bin Salman said, when he was asked about this vision by, I think it was the Science Monitor, the Science Monitor magazine, he was asked about this vision, and he said there's no stopping to it, which means that the government is adamant in achieving this by 2030. So, as I said, OKRs are being adjusted. However, the KPIs are set, and we are there. We are going there. Here, we can take a smaller business, not countrywide, but a smaller business. And this is just an example. There's the 20%. This is what we need to achieve as KPIs. So the OKR is to increase opportunity identification through customer reach. We need to reach more customers to achieve that. The other, I mean, to complete the whole business cycle, we need to reduce the man hours through increase of adoption of artificial intelligence tools now or technology. So it doesn't mean that if I want to make my work produce more or have more production by hiring more people. No, I can do that by introducing what tools are now the technology is providing for me, and that is through artificial intelligence. There's the creation of a new product market. So we should not lock ourselves into, I would say, tunnel vision. We should always think outside the box. Are there other opportunities, other products? I mean, how can I transform this current product into another for more uses that is not being identified, and introduce them to the users or public? And finally, increase the employees' awareness through targeted training. And our private sector, for example, here, they are very much reluctant into spending money on training. They expect the guy that they hire is to come from the door, sit on his desk, or go behind the wheel in the car and start producing. But you will not get the best of it of him without actually introducing him to a higher level of skills, and that is only done by training. And those numbers of the KPIs, which 20%, 15, 35, and 30, these cannot be met without actually being innovative in our OKRs. Now, how to get started with the OKRs? Okay, we understood this is how it is. Very nice. Now, how to start the engine and move forward with it? There are 4 steps identified to do this. Okay, so there are 4 steps to get started with the OKRs right away and implement them the best way possible. The first is knowledge about OKRs. So people need to understand what are OKRs so that they can start shifting from the KPI dominance world to the KPI plus OKR world. So there has to be some knowledge sharing first. The second is motivation. Motivation starts with being transparent. So unless you are transparent, the others will not be motivated. It will be the opposite. They will be demotivated if they don't know anything about what is going on in the other side of the room, if they only know about their cubicle. But if they are all part of this one team with communication and transparency, that is when motivation kicks in. So the guy will become motivated because he wants to be a part of it, part of the improvement. Why do you want to implement OKRs, for example? What benefits do they feel OKRs will provide to the establishment? This is the things that motivate the people to make a difference. When people see how their work matters to the overall company goals, they naturally feel more motivated, determined, and engaged, because everyone wants to kick in. They want to provide what they can do. And sometimes the most ingenious ideas come from the guy who's probably didn't say anything the whole year, and suddenly he come up with something that nobody even thought about. Third is culture. Now, this needs to be always dynamic, changing the culture of any establishment, any corporation, in line with the change, with the innovation. So companies need to have a culture that is open and transparent, and where failing and learning is okay. Okay, so it is okay to fail. It is okay to know or recognize that you missed a knowledge that you need to be learned on or taught about. OKRs are also data driven. If you don't have data, okay, like the Vision 2030, where they have the numbers, if you don't have data, then you won't be able to properly form good OKRs, and you won't know whether you succeed or fail. And last, good OKR tools. There are tools that are available in the market that can be used. Some say, well, I don't need that sophisticated tool. I can an Excel sheet will be sufficient. That is fine, depending on the size. But if you're running a magnitude like a university or a hospital, you need a very effective tool to be adopted. Drafting the first OKRs on a spreadsheet is good practice. But once teams are actively collaborating and putting actions around OKRs, a tool is needed that lets you do that. And that is what I came here today to talk about. And now we can go into the questions and answers. And here is the target that I put here for you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Majed.
You're well
It's
welcome.
an eye-opening for me.
Oh, alhamdulillah.
All right, thank you, Brother Majed.
You're very
Wow,
welcome.
it's a very, something new for me to know more about OKRs. I'm interested in OKR rather than KPI, Brother Majed. So
Okay.
before, I wanna one question first to you, Brother Majed. As you
Sure.
know that, can we implement OKRs in education sector, brother? Is it possible
Yes.
or not?
It is possible. It is possible to implement OKRs in any line of business.
All right.
You see, OKRs are target oriented. What is your target in the business? To attract more students, to change curriculum, for example,
Yep.
improve a curriculum.
Yeah.
OKRs are the tools to do that.
All right.
And then you use the KPIs to measure this performance.
So, and about the second one, if one company do the performance appraisal, this can we say that it's a part of KPI system or OKRs when the company do the performance appraisal? And your
Right.
suggestion, brother.
Right. Now, the performance appraisal actually combines both.
All right.
It measures or reflects what is the past performance being done.
All right.
And then for each area, like in the companies here, when they put a question, for example, about absenteeism, okay, this guy, he's regularly absent 1 day a week, okay. We put OKRs for each area, okay.
All right.
Like in the management, how does he manage his time?
All right.
Okay, so we set a OKR goal that we want to reach 99.9 because you cannot have 100% attendance. Sometimes it is health reasons, sometimes it is family emergency, whatever. So we give this margin, but we need to limit this margin. So if he's exceeding that, it means that we need to stick to OKR saying, well, we want to see how we can get you to the 99.5, for example.
All right.
And so that is an OKR. Now, the key indicators, key performance indicators is the punch card, for example. But at the same time, there should be some changes. As I said, OKRs, it means change, innovation. Okay, you have every week you have family emergency. So why don't you, for example, we inform this guy, why don't you enroll in a program that lets the doctors, doctor visitation more frequent so that it can reduce this emergency, because you want to reduce this emergency, which is unplanned, all right? So make the unplanned as planned, okay?
You mean that plan E or plan B, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the last one before coming to another participant want to give their comment or question to Brother Majed. So the next question is about how many times should we do the performance appraisal in ideal time, Brother Majed? Maybe once a year or twice in a year. So what do you think, brother?
We used to do it quarterly in my business.
All
now,
right.
Okay. Now, if it's critical, if the business is critical, such as you talk about hospitals, for example.
Yeah.
You need to do that quarterly. Okay.
Oh, in your company, you do it in quarterly, right?
We did it quarterly because
All right.
the business now, that we're running is very critical.
Right.
So any deviation from that will have a last long effect
All right.
and cost.
Mhm.
So it is associated with loss, okay, money loss.
All
So
right.
it is very critical that we always realign,
Mhm.
okay?
Right.
Especially when you deal with people.
All right. So depend on our urgent or priority of the company itself, right?
Yes.
All
So,
right.
but if you're talking about, for example, law firm,
Uh-huh.
the laws almost never change. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
this can be done on an annual basis
Mhm.
because the lawyers cannot deviate.
All right.
Okay. The judge will always set it right. Okay.
All right.
So yes,
Okay. All right.
it depends on how much dynamic is the business.
All right. Thank you, Brother Majed.
You're very welcome. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, please, another person want to give your suggestion or a question to Brother Majid. Please
Can I
take your
have a
time.
question, Henry?
Yeah, of course, Roddy,
Yes.
please, with
Very
pleasure.
interesting and very simple and clear from your
Yeah.
explanation, Mr. Majid. And I'm interested with the OKR frameworks.
All right,
Once again,
OKR.
it's very focused and simple. My question is about how to choose the objectives, how to make
Identify.
this objective prioritize, because of course we have some objective, and how to choose that this is can we have more than one objective for this OKR, or can we prioritize this objective first and then the next one later?
Okay. Well, for each target, there's always one single objective, and it is advised to have only single objective because you don't want clashes between the implementation. So because it needs to be focused. So the team needs to be focused, targeting one area always. Now, having said that, let's talk about the education sector, for example. A school consists of several levels, several layers. There is the management, the headmaster and his deputies. There is the guides who are involved more with teachers, between the teachers and the management, and there are the teachers themselves. Okay, so those three would have different OKRs. However, they are always targeting one thing, and that is to have 99% success rate, let's say, okay, which is a very dramatic number. Let's call it 85% success rate. So this can be translated or broken down into three layers of OKRs. The management needs to have a role, and they will have their own OKR. The guides would have their own roles, which means they can have their own OKRs. Team, and there is the bottom line, which is the teachers. They would have their own OKRs, which mean targeting their goals. Now, these combined together, we should always have the same goal, which is to have 80% success rate. So the management need to focus on how to run the school, how to run the budget, how to for example, the social programs. Do we allow students to go outside the school for part of their daily or weekly? For example, if you want to give them a lesson about nature, why don't we take them outside to a place where there are trees and animals, for example? This is management driven, so it is because there's money involved. The guides, okay, which is between the management and the teachers, their OKRs would be, okay, how do we get the teachers more involved in this by introducing a new schedule structure to make them more comfortable. They need more time in spending correcting papers, for the teachers. So the guides need to introduce those new ideas or to be innovative so that it will satisfy the overall goal, but at the same time, it will help guide the teachers into achieving it. Now, when we come to the teachers, their OKRs is how to improve their learning methods for the students. So they need to be, they need to adopt more, let's say, modern. They need to look into training themselves. So even if I'm a teacher, I still need training on how to use, for example, the laptops with the students instead of books. How do I communicate with the students instead of just waiting for the student to come to my room? It would be available on a website that they would create for their students. So there will be more interaction, more one-to-one, etc. So even though that we have broken one goal into 3 OKRs, but they're all targeting to the same intended value.
Okay.
I hope that
Okay.
answers your question.
Yeah. Thank you. That's clear enough for me. And once I want to ask the next question
Sure.
about you mentioned that the objective or the result must be stretching.
Yes.
If you said yes, it's different with the SMART goals, right? The SMART goals is like more achievable.
Yeah, of course, we will not be adopting goals that are unachievable. Okay, what I mean by stretching, it means that we should not only be limiting ourselves to what we know. Okay, OKR is all about innovation, so our innovation should be stretched widely. Okay, we should not limit ourselves on what we have learned in the past, right? So the OKRs, when they are the framework of the OKRs, when we say go into the stretch mode, if we would call it, it means that don't limit yourself. You limit yourself only if it is KPI, because the KPI are limits that you put yourself with, which means you cannot exceed that. Number of students in a classroom, you cannot go above 20, for example. So that's your KPI. But how to achieve more with those 20, right? That is open, right, for innovation. So the stretch mode here is into the innovation, not on resources or being beyond your limitation. So we need to know where we need to stop, because it's always limited by money. Okay, yeah. Everything. Okay, everything is that we're talking about here is about investment. Learning is investment. Introducing new ideas and new tools, that's investment. So your limitation is always related to budgets. Okay, it is not about ideas.
How about the time frame? Time is also limited. Is it to be stretched enough? Is to be should this create the time frame is
no
speed big enough?
No, it should not be open. There should always be a defined schedule. Like in Vision 2030, we set the goal 2030. We should not go beyond that date. So everything should be achieved or mostly achieved before that date. That is our target date. If we exceeded that, it means that whatever we put in here and whatever we studied and targeted, etc., it becomes meaningless, right? If we don't achieve that. So our strengths are put into before 2030. So we always measure, where are we? Are we deviating? Are we behind? If we are, then we need to change our OKR so that we can achieve this 2030. This date is, let's say, is a holy date. Okay? Yeah, it should not be touched. Okay, because like in any project, I take a project from a company. Like nowadays, they give me 2-3 years to accomplish. Right. Yeah. If I want to go beyond that, then I would be facing a penalty, right, for each day that I'm delayed. So in order for me to avoid that, going into that phase, I do everything in my power to achieve it by that date. So I need always to be measuring the deviation. Are we in target, or is the needle moving left or right? So how to set the needle back in? What are the reasons why this is not happening? So there comes the innovation, and the innovation should be stretched wide to achieve the date, the intended target dates.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. Majed.
Yeah.
So, udah Helmi?
Hi, Arman. Welcome back to our channel. Long time no see you, brother.
Hello,
Oh.
udah Helmi.
Hi, long time no see.
I'm really sorry for being late.
It's okay, Arman.
Because
Do you have any something to ask to Brother Majed, to Brother Majed presentation tonight, Arman?
yeah, okay. Because I was just finished another event from
All right.
Age Tilawah.
All right. It's okay. Take your time.
Yeah, to finish reciting Al-Quran within 2 hours.
Oh, it's got a long time, right? Okay. Good luck.
We do it together, though.
All right.
So just I just finished at 8:40. So
8:40, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any question or statement due to Brother Majed presentation about KPIs and OKRs?
Yeah, because hello, Mr. Majed, Assalamualaikum.
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. How are you?
Nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, because I didn't quite follow your presentation earlier. You talk about KPI and OKR, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I didn't quite follow about that, but you mentioned about something about Saudi Arabia's target to 2030 vision and goals.
Right.
So it is to reduce Saudi Arabia's depend on oil, diversity, its economy, and develop public service sector.
Exactly.
Is that right? Yeah,
Yes.
that's the target to achieve. Yeah. My question is, I underline the reducing our Saudi Arabia dependence on oil. So if it is to reduce dependence on oil, if Saudi Arabia have got any other thing to replace it, I'm just curious about it.
Yeah, actually, it's a very good question. What we did in the past is like we go, if we want to buy weapons, if we want to buy goods, etc. It's like somebody going to the mall with credit card in his pocket. He just go to the shop, buy. Okay. Now, this is not the case. So if I want to buy, for example, a plane, Saudi wants to buy a plane, from Boeing. So they will say to Boeing, okay, I'm not going to buy from you directly from US. You need to bring your factory here to build the plane in Saudi, and then I can buy from you. Now, of course, this cannot happen overnight. So what is being done is that it is taken gradually. And it is called local content. What I mean by local content, let's talk about a mobile phone. Okay, so this is Samsung, right? And that's going to be the next after 2025. They're going to tell Samsung, if I'm going to allow you to sell this within Saudi Arabia, you need to have at least 10% of this made in Saudi. The chip, or the frame, or the cachet inside, or the program itself. So what Samsung will do, it will bring that section of the factory into Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia then will say, well, you must be hiring 50% of those Saudis. This is called technology transfer. Last week, yeah, it was last week. Oh, no, sorry, the week before, I participated in the World Defense Show. It is the first World Defense Show. And it's all about weapons, planes, guns, tanks, whatever. And the idea is for the companies that were participating there, like Lockheed Martin, they will have the Apache helicopters built in Saudi, so that they can sell to Saudi Air Force. Okay, so we're not asking to buy it from US, where only US people know about the technology, only US people working, but we will be bringing the technology here, so we would know how to build the airplanes. We will also train our people on how to build the airplanes, and that's how it's being done. Take Lucid electric car. Lucid electric car, it is the second after Tesla, okay? And now the factory is being built in Saudi. So Saudi Arabia will be producing its own cars, okay? It is car made in Saudi Arabia. It is high quality luxury cars. And so this technology transfer is being done. So the revenue that the government would be getting the taxes from it, the benefits from it, that is now diversification. So the economy, instead of only depending on oil and money coming from oil and going into the pocket and let's go to the mall, now it's no more. Okay, this concept is dead. Okay, and so this technology transfer is very active now. Last week they already signed a contract with another company, car company, that they're going to open another factory here in Saudi. So we have now 2 models being built in Saudi. Okay, so this technology transfer is not only teaching us Saudis, who before I didn't. If I know how to build a plane, it was useless, okay, to be in Saudi, okay? So I will rather stay in US or in Europe so that I can work. Whereas if I'm here, I will just be a simple lecturer in a university in physics or mechanics, whatever. But the know-how now is not only in the university level, but also in the technicians level. So the whole line of production are now Saudis, in conjunction with the foreigners. So the know-how, and also the start building the infrastructure of the workforce. We are now transforming from people who only spend to people who are producing, and that is one of the targets of also in the technicians.
Yeah. So it's gonna be Saudi is gonna be industrial country in the near
Exactly.
future,
Yes.
yeah?
The
So
ultimate,
what about the market of the product? It is consumed locally, or going to sell or to export the product abroad
okay.
as well?
Okay, for those 2 models of cars, they will be sold worldwide. However, there are some areas where they're going to be locally or regionally, okay, GCC market, okay, before we get outside, because it depends on the criticality. For example, if you're looking at the board, the chips, okay, now there are a few factories now building the boards, but they have some defects. So there's an improvement process is happening, okay, in order to reach the quality that is intended to be sold worldwide. So the government is also having programs on how to improve. So as I said, when I participated in this World Defense Show, they start buying type of cables. It's a special cables, communication cables, but they are 90% accuracy. And they said, surprisingly, we'll buy $2 billion worth. Okay, it's okay. So out of the 2 billion, maybe 600 million is okay. 400 million will be junk. Okay, but they also injected a team to help that company to improve, okay? Because that company is new, but never done it before. So they just adopted the technology, unlike where it is in the West, where they lived with it, they experienced the failures in the beginning until they have achieved the type of quality. Here we are starting from, not from scratch, let's say from 50%. So the failure margin is there, okay? And the government is recognizing this. So they're saying, no, I will help you, I will buy from you, but also I will help you on how to improve it to achieve the level that we need, okay? So it is not left alone. It is actually, there's involvement between the government and the sector itself. So as I said, it is OKRs. So there is transparency and communication, okay? And that is how it's being done.
So you already have some kind of electric vehicle factories down in Saudi Arabia
And weapons.
and weapons.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And weapons.
Wow.
Actually, and weapons that we received contracts from US to buy from us. So now it is reversing. And it is serious. Everybody is involved in this program. Makes us proud, of course, and it will benefit for the Islamic world. I mean, to have an Islamic country with production like that, with capability, it will be beneficial. Like I've seen now, there's a great involvement of Saudi Arabia government with the Indonesian government into the investment in Indonesia, even though it is on a shy level. But I'm seeing there's more and more involvement from the embassy in Jakarta with many areas in Indonesia. On a weekly basis, I see the ambassador sitting with a group of government officials talking about opportunities on investments. So it is a two-way street. It is not just one way. Okay.
Right. Right. Thank you, Mr. Majid.
You're very welcome.
Okay, thank you, Arman.
You're
Udiana, do you have any question or statement, Udiana? Please take your time.
Thank you, Mr. Helmi. Thank you, Mr. Majid.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, actually, I don't so understand about OKR or KPI that Mr. Majid delivered just now, but I try to understand little by little. From Mr. Majid just now, I think the implementation of OKR and KPI is in the big scale of business or in a company, but how about is it possible or not when it is implemented in small scale business? Is it it can that concept can be implemented or not?
Yes, it can be. Actually, OKR is not limited to the size of business. It is limited to the direction of the business. Now, any business that is looking for growth, OKR is the tools for it, because OKRs help you identify the goals in order to reach the goals. And as I said during my my talk while I was giving the presentation, OKRs can also be implemented at home individually. It is not just business related. It is goal oriented. I would repeat the example I used. If I want to reduce the dependency on the health organizations, such as going to the hospitals a lot, I have a lot of ailment. So OKR means that I need to have a healthy lifestyle. Okay. I'm not talking about terminal illness. I'm talking about the recurring illness, the ailments, like somebody who's always having cold, always having fatigue, back pain, stuff like that, that keeps the person always attending hospital consultation. So OKR say, well, let's switch to the healthy lifestyle. So now I need to create KPIs, okay, on to measure, am I doing well, okay? Measure the number of visitation, the amount of medication that I'm taking, and the number of times that I'm actually suffering. What we have a program, for example, in the organization I'm working with, we have a scale, you know, a weight for people, and we have a small box with cards. Each employee would have his name on a card. So at any given time, an employee can go and weigh himself and register what is his weight. Now, he himself, okay, he can see, is he increasing in weight? Is he losing weight? Is he keeping steady? So this, the OKR for him is that he stays healthy and within, let's say, depending on the height, 60 kilogram. So is he always around 60, like 61, 59, 61, 59, or is he 61, 62, 63? Now, the KPIs here for him is the number. So all our employees, it's not being monitored, it is for individual use. So I myself, I come in the morning, I step on the scale, take my card and register what weight I have and look at the other numbers that happened last week, the week before. So this will give me indication. So this is what we call getting the employee involved instead of him waiting until suddenly he's got ailment because he's being blown, getting weight more and more, or thinner, and suddenly people say, oh, you're losing weight. And usually people notice this after it's too late. But if you monitoring it on a quarterly, or not quarterly, weekly basis, like everybody else is doing it in the company, it will give you an indication of where are you going. And then adjust your OKRs. Okay, I need to stop eating rice every day. Okay, or I need to reduce the fat that I'm, or not stop drinking Pepsi, what have you. Okay, so these are tools that can be injected in any, even at home. Okay, you can have that. All right. So the idea of the OKR and KPIs is involves everybody. It is not related only to business. It is related to health, to education, anything.
Okay. So it's possible when we apply in various activities in our lives.
Yeah, even in your program, your PhD program, you can have that. Your OKRs is to get graduated by this date, and then you would have KPIs to measure. Are you achieving it or are you deviating? So if you're deviating, you have one of two things: either adjust the needle or adjust the OKRs. Maybe it is overcoming. So it is not limiting you, okay? But it sets you, it makes you aware about where are you going, you know?
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Majed.
You're very welcome.
Okay, thank you, Irna. Next, Al, do you have any question or statement due to Brother Majid presentation? Please take your time, Al. Your mic, please, Al. All right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hamid.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what question. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I'm not to understand with the topic. Yeah. Can Mr. Majid explain about KPI and OKR ini and in simple ways, applying in our lives, for example, in a simple ways.
Okay, Ramadan is coming soon. Let's talk about that. Okay, reading Quran and making ibadah. Okay. My OKR, okay, is that I need to read Quran twice, okay, in this month. Let's say this is OKR. This is my objective. Now, if I am for the 2 weeks, if I'm reading five juz'a or 2 to 3 5 juz'a, then that is my KPIs. Okay.
Mhm.
If I'm reading less, it means I'm not going to be achieving the OKR that I put to
OKRs.
myself.
Mhm.
Okay. It means either I need to increase my reading, or maybe I cannot because of other circumstances. I need to adjust the OKRs. So the OKRs can say, well, make it once, okay, not twice in a month. So in order for me to meet my limitation. So OKR doesn't tell you that you adopt something beyond what you can achieve, okay?
Yeah. Mhm.
If we go to a company, OKR doesn't mean that you go beyond your budget or beyond the schedule, okay? It tells you to adjust this so that you can meet what is the ultimate goal, is to have this project completed, to read the Quran fully, okay? So going back to Ramadan, all right, reading Quran, which is Sunnah, all right, but it is advisable that set it as an OKR, okay, to make it twice, and then divide the number of pages or the number of juz'a on the days, okay, and when to do it. So maybe you need to, you need to examine what makes me not able to achieve this, or I see that I cannot achieve it. Maybe it is the time of day. Maybe that time I'm involved in cooking, or that time I'm involved in meetings. So instead of me saying, well, I'm not going to be dedicated from this hour to this hour to read it, I can divide it into several days. So for example, after each prayer, I will read a little. And this way you can achieve the daily target instead of cramming it all together in one time and say spending 2 hours in reading. Okay, I can spend 10 minutes or 20 minutes after each prayer, and that makes you achieve. So here, your KPIs have changed, but the OKR remained the same. Whereas, okay, well, you have sudden circumstances that makes you not able to spend that time. So don't go beyond your limitation. Say, okay, my OKRs, it is once. So I will adjust my KPIs to achieve that. Okay, that is in simple terms.
All right. All right. Oh. All right, Mr. Majed. Maybe will to repeat review again the materials to make friendly understand it, and then we can apply this knowledge in our life. Yeah, maybe we have a different culture, and then sometimes we get difficult to understand what is the point about. Yeah.
But feel free to ask.
Thank you. Thank you. The explanation, Mr. Majed.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
So,
All right,
Mr.
thank you,
Majed,
Al.
would I help me? Can I
Okay.
ask Mr. Majed?
Yeah,
So,
of course.
Mr. Majed, so
Yeah.
when you set target for the OKR, so we have to make sure that it is achievable, right?
Yes, it is achievable, should be achievable. I mean, what's the point of adopting something that you cannot achieve from beginning? It's a waste of time and effort.
So
that's why SMART goals should be achievable. Remember, oh, maybe you didn't attend our last session, but during our last session, Brother Helmi mentioned that the SMART goals should be achievable. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, Mr. Majed.
Okay, Mr. Bobo, before we end the program, do you have one question or any statement, Mr. Bobo?
Well, thank you so much, Helmi. And,
all right.
Unfortunately, I don't have one.
All right. So, brother, will you allow me to give one last question, brother?
Sure.
All right. So before Mr. Bobo end our program, well, Brother Majed, my question is, when we try to adopt or we will try to implement OKRs, what mistake should we avoid? Anyway, brother, I need your suggestion. I need your help.
Okay. One of the main mistakes in implementing OKRs is that we do not follow on regular basis our performance.
All right.
Identifying our performance is like when you're driving a car, you're always looking at the gauges. Okay?
All
So
right.
you look at the speed because you don't want to exceed the speed limit. You're looking at
Okay.
So ignoring that, like sometimes, and I'm sure Professor Asha has experienced this with me a couple of times.
All right.
I ignored looking at the fuel, and suddenly the car stopped.
Right.
So running out of fuel, it means that I'm not monitoring my KPIs here. Okay. And that made me fail in my OKR. So I couldn't reach where I want to go. Okay. Or I exceeded the schedule because I need to spend time to refuel, walking, coming back, and putting the fuel. And so, yes, ignoring to monitor the indicators, which is the main thing. Many people, when they go into business, they always fail in monitoring indicators. They think it is a waste of time, or they have more priority, but actually it is the priority. Okay, above anything else. Okay.
All right. Oh, well, I'm sorry, we still left one person. Uni Aisha, hello, Uni. I need your comment due to Brother Majid explanation in the understanding in KPIs and also OKRs. Please welcome, Uni.
Thank you, Pak Helmi.
All right. Thank you.
Question.
Well, she
Gonna say something? Is that okay, Uni?
She can grill me anytime here. I'm a bit of 24 hours, so.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Uni.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, thank you to Brother Majid for your clear and usable and meaningful explanation about the implementing of KPIs and also OKRs in our daily life, right? Well,
thank you very much.
We back to Brother Mr. Bobo to end our program. Please welcome Brother Mr. Bobo.
Okay, thank you so much, Helmi. And wow, that was really great presentations, Brother Majed. We had a lot of knowledge here tonight.
All right.
But it is time for us to close the program now. And I want to say thanks everybody for attending our program tonight. And thanks so much for your cooperation. And before I close the program, let's say Hamdallah.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So I'll see you again in our next Zoom meeting, everybody. Goodbye and have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Brother Majid. El, Nirna, Mr. Bobo, Uni Aisyah, Arman, Roni.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
All right. Assalamualaikum.